Hey YouTube, it's your boy, B3, the only important person here, and Matty Matt. Not the Matty Matt you guys normally see in gaming videos, but this one, new guy, for comic book videos, yeah. So you know, on my other channel, B3 Productions, I do comic book collection updates. I'm going to start doing reviews on this channel, same thing we do with the action figures. And what do you got for us today?
Well, today I have Justice League #2.
Ooh, Volume 2, The Villain's Journey.
Yes. Thank you. I could not actually remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Well, it's on the front of the book, so.
That did help. I probably should have checked there. Gosh, that's a new concept for me. So
He's an English major, by the way. You have graduated.
I have. In fact, I teach English too.
And you can't even find like a name. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just messing with you.
That's okay. I can take it. So, yes, The Villain's Journey. This was an awesome volume for me. I am a new reader, as if you've seen the last video, you know by now. And this is really my introduction into the Justice League, especially the New 52.
Which is still the current continuity with Rebirth, by the way. Still relevant.
Yep, check that timestamp for when this was posted. And though I have watched and know a lot about DC, this is very much my intro to the New 52. And I have to say, while I enjoyed Justice League Volume 1, I loved Justice League Volume 2.
Oh, so you liked it more?
I liked it more, I think. While I love a good coming together story for the team, there's a bunch of those out there. Kind of like the team origin story and the all that kind of stuff. And I think it's far more fascinating to see how the team stays together, especially with the big personalities that you have on a team like this.
And they almost don't in this book.
Which is what I find so fascinating.
Graves was a pretty dope villain. New villain for this. I don't think he was a villain before.
Of course I wouldn't know.
Not one I remember.
Well,
I should have probably looked it up.
Well,
New to me.
Feel free to comment below if you think we're idiots for not knowing about that. Really, and I thought, as a villain goes, when you're up against the likes of Superman and The Flash and Green Lantern and, of course, my boy Aquaman, you know, raw power is not necessarily the way to go against somebody who can bench press 10-story buildings without breaking a sweat. And Graves' approach from a psychological perspective is far more terrifying to me just on a personal level, like geez. But also just within the context of the story, as somebody who actually could be dangerous to these people.
Yeah, because like any villain can punch the Justice League, but he was manipulating.
And in many ways tearing them apart emotionally, more than just even mentally. So I guess I should go ahead and give a brief overview. It starts off really with another one of those classic monster battles against somebody named Spore.
Yeah, just a little in-between story, between bigger arcs.
And it really does seem to flow that way over a time period, because they take on multiple smaller villains throughout this story. By the end of about midway through is really when Graves starts to become the threat. But first, you have to establish really Graves' approach, which is Steve Trevor. Poor Steve.
Poor Steve.
Poor Steve.
Oh, Steve. Steve!
What did they do to you, man?
Steve!
Anybody who's a fan of DC and who has followed the New 52 probably knows by now about Wonder Woman and Superman. So any of us older fans who knew about Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman kind of had to sit there and go, what happened to Steve? And this really did answer what happened to Steve.
Outside the Wonder Woman title, anyways.
Well, as a new reader, I can say that I have not read those and not feel bad.
I haven't either, but I really want to read her Rebirth book.
I would be excited to as well. Maybe a future video, who knows?
I'm buying too much Rebirth stuff as it is, man.
Hey, look, you've got me to help out with the budget now, let's be real. But, really, out of this, I learned a lot of things about what New 52 is going to be like, I think. It's so much darker and sadder.
You can thank Nolan for that, boy.
Yeah, no, Christopher Nolan's impact on the DC Universe can definitely be felt. There is not a single character in here who does not have some kind of tragic, dark, literal ghosts haunting them.
Literally in this book.
Literally ghosts haunting them, thanks to Graves. But it starts off really establishing the Justice League's situation at the moment, their mass popularity with the people of Earth, and the discontent that the American citizens seem to be feeling for their government. There's even a couple of references to people wanting the Justice League to take over running the U.S.
Yeah, I would not want Hal Jordan to be a governor.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds like a terrible
I don't even want to think about the amount of sexual harassment suits the government would have to handle.
I love Hal. He would just leave planet for years at a time.
But and really, this is the after Justice League Volume 1. It's pretty easy to see why people love the Justice League. And this is actually a bit of their falling from grace as well, which was great. But I should probably give you a brief overview before I start talking anymore. So, as I said before, Spore comes in, another small little tiny arc, and Green Arrow repeatedly bothers the League about joining. To which the League are not so open to that idea. They tend to brush him off, especially Aquaman, who I am unaware actually of Aquaman's gripe with Green Arrow, and I feel like a terrible fan for that, because Aquaman and Green Arrow
are your two favorites,
are
and
my
you don't know what's
two
going on with either of them.
You know, if it was pre-New 52, I could probably tell you about it, but New 52 is throwing me for a loop here. So my heart hurts, my soul bleeds that my two men don't get along so well. But after a few references to Green Arrow kind of being, Green Arrow kind of calls him useless a few times. He's approached by Steve Trevor for an alternative team.
Yeah, set up for JLA.
Yes. Along the way, we kind of get the story of Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman's failed romance and their split, precipitated by Wonder Woman, and Steve's difficulty in coping with it.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. The media made it out to be worse than it was.
Although, you know, if you're turning to bottles of booze on a regular basis, you know, there's a little problem.
I don't know, but like when they're going on him and he's buying that alcohol, he's taking it to a dinner with his family to share with his sister.
Okay, see, like, I apparently need to reread this again.
You literally just read that before we made this video.
You're not. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say in my defense, the first time I read this, I had 102-degree fever.
That's true. He was nasty sick.
Oh gosh,
nasty sick.
So I actually read through this as fast as possible, so we'd have a chance to actually sit down and do this video. So I'm gonna blame you for this one. I'm gonna blame you for that one.
But that's Chief.
Okay. Thanks for going along with that.
That's cool.
We have Steve Trevor's unfortunate backstory, and he's abducted by Graves in an attempt to figure out a way to bring down the Justice League. Now, along the way, there are also other supervillains who are breaking out, and all of whom have been tormented, tortured, or abused by Graves in an attempt, again, to find more information about the Justice League and pinpoint their weaknesses, which is pretty fascinating and a pretty great way to go, because nobody's going to know more about the heroes and the villains. I wish I could speak. But after abducting Trevor, Graves confronts the Justice League at the Watchtower using Trevor's security access, which was all a clever ruse by Cyborg, because he's not supposed to have access. It was just to see
like
if
a
burglar alarm. Yeah, like, hey, somebody's trying to mess with you.
Pretty fancy.
So he shows up and almost immediately debilitates the entire League instantly.
Yeah, they don't really have a big magic user, and Graves is magic.
Yes, absolutely. So
yeah, kind of like as a team, they kind of got a weakness there.
They really do.
Like the closest thing they have to a magic user would be Wonder Woman, just because her powers come from magic.
True.
But she's not a magic user.
And I guess maybe Aquaman gets a little bit of
kudos
for that.
Got that magic
trident of Poseidon. Yeah.
But he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, okay. My boy was a little useless this time around, not gonna lie. He didn't do too terribly much. But I do like that they keep referencing Aquaman's kind of mistreatment by the media in the actually within the continuity.
I actually think that's kind of weird, because you say everyone's making fun of him and doesn't seem to like him in the Aquaman title. But in these books, it seems like, at least in the first 2 volumes, the whole world just loves him.
I tell you what, oh man, let me reference, after, okay, because of Graves' manipulation, the, Justice League ends up on Earth. He informs them that he's going to mess with Steve Trevor's sister. And so Wonder Woman freaks out a little bit about this. And Cyborg boom tubes them down.
She takes it hella personally.
Well, yeah, she does. And after a brief confrontation with Graves, mostly verbal confrontation, Wonder Woman loses it. Literally, and ends up, I'm starting to be convinced that anybody with any abnormal strength can smash through Green Lantern's constructs, because she backhands her way through those too.
Yeah, in Volume 1, Superman's just blowing them up, and then here and Wonder Woman's like, the constructs aren't anything to her either.
There's this awesome panel where he's encased her in a bubble because Wonder Woman's about to go off all lone gun to go.
Fools. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she very clearly states that she's going to go cut Graves' head off. And Green Lantern, of course, tries to slow her down and puts her in a bubble and says, "Wait, let's do this as a team." And there's this great shot where she's got her hand up on the bubble and her head's kind of bowed down, and you can see the team in the background. And the next scene, she is smashing her way through and kicking Green Lantern through a couple of nearby cars, which was glorious, frankly. But Wonder Woman is clearly concerned, and this in altercation with Green Lantern and then with Superman and the Flash, I think it's involved as well.
Yeah, I think Batman gets Cyborg to boom him away.
I think so, yeah, right at the last second, because Graves is actually broadcasting this fight on every phone, computer screen, and TV around the world. So this has a pretty shattering effect on the world's perception of the Justice League. And, they kind of, to get back to the Aquaman reference, they kind of reconvene back in the Watchtower, and Green Lantern's complaining about this new perception. And Aquaman kind of just says, "Welcome to my world." Literally. Because public perception is not very positive about Aquaman. He's seen as a joke.
Just wait till the next one.
Oh, gosh. I can already say that in the Aquaman volumes 1 and... I'm looking for 2 right now. But in volume 1 especially, there's a lot of disdain for Aquaman from the populace. But that's kind of beside the point. After this, they start piecing together some of Graves' backstory.
That poor guy, though.
Oh, man.
He just wants his family back.
And he was willing to do anything for him, and I frankly cannot blame him. That's another great aspect of him as a villain, is that he's very...
Like, you feel bad for him.
I do.
Like, you want the Justice League to win, but at the same time, it's like, you don't want Graves
to suffer anymore?
Suffer. Yeah, you don't want him to necessarily... Well, you want him to lose because he wants to release all these evil spirits on the world or whatever.
But
and they tricked him too. He's like almost just as much, probably more so of a victim than the Justice League here.
Well, and I gotta say, in this one, actually that's a little spoilery. I want everybody who watches this to go buy this because this is fantastic. And Graves' backstory is the same way Cyborg's backstory seemed to kind of be the heart of Volume 1, Graves' story and Steve Trevor's story kind of seem to be the heart of this volume. There's a lot of tragedy going on in this New 52 thing. I don't know if I could take it.
That's what Rebirth is for, man.
Yep, clearly. But Graves' backstory is tragic and sympathetic, and I really can't blame him for the way he kind of went after the Justice League. Of course, them being the Justice League, they find a way to persevere and overcome. They track Graves down to kind of his lair, I suppose is the best word for where he kind of comes from. They have their confrontation, altercation. Wonder Woman believes that Steve Trevor is dead, and Steve's miraculous reappearance, which nobody will be surprised about, I don't think.
No. Like, whenever someone's not dead in a comic, it's not a surprise.
Yeah. And Steve's miraculous appearance is kind of the catalyst for their comeback and them beating Graves. And it ends with, the Amanda Waller showing up to pick Graves' brain about how to break apart the Justice League, which I'm sure leads into some fantastic stories later on down the road.
Yeah, it's more JLA Trinity War stuff that's building up.
But that's kind of the brief overview. Hunt, please tell me. I just said Oops.
What?
Nothing.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm just gonna. I mean, whoever does the overview is just gonna infuse their thoughts on the book with the overview.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Which is fine. No, it kind of just gets it done faster, honestly. But it just makes it seem longer. But I think one of the cool things about the Justice League is it's a mixture of lighthearted and darker characters. So you can have like a real bright Justice League story, or you can have a real dark Justice League story. And this was a real dark Justice League story, even though it kind of starts with a more comedic little Green Arrow thing.
And that really was actually pretty funny. Green Arrow's desperate attempts to join the Justice League and some hopes for redemption.
Yeah, it was a nice little break between the world almost being taken over by Darkseid and then almost being taken over by evil spirits.
Yeah. Well, and it really did establish the reason that I love Green Arrow, which is that he's serious and driven internally, but he's still more than a bit of a smartass. And seems to be pretty fun-loving as well along the way.
Yes. But yeah, because this book actually starts off with a nice little bit of comedy, and then Steve Trevor gets tortured. And it's just
Brutally.
downhill from there, my friends.
Oh, man.
Just downhill from there, and it's just, I haven't read this one a lot in my collection. When I read books,
I'm not sure I can blame you. It kind of hurts my heart a little bit.
this isn't one I reread a lot. I think I've only read it twice, to be completely honest with you. And it's good, and I think once again, just like in Volume 1, Cyborg's still my favorite in this volume.
I totally understand why.
Still my favorite. Still the most useful. And then, man, when they're in the cave and all the dead people are showing up and like all their dead loved ones are showing up, and Cyborg shows up to himself.
He sees his actual body, the body that he lost. Oh, wow, that was...
I was like, what's going on here, my friends?
Oh, wow. That was
pretty hard to look at. I was like, oh, Cyborg, that poor guy. I don't want to call him a kid.
Because...
he's definitely an adult.
Well, and, they're flashing back to 5 years before. So the Justice League has been established in this universe at this point for at least that long. So that makes Cyborg by this point at least 23.
He's about our age.
Yeah. He is. Wow. But, now, I got a question for you, actually. The end of this volume with Wonder Woman and Superman.
Oh, the kiss, the famous kiss.
As a new reader, and new to this, I suppose, fandom, I guess would be the best word. I have to ask, what was the effect of that for you as a longtime reader and fan?
For me, I didn't think it would last. It lasted for years. It just recently ended when that Superman died.
Yeah.
I was like, she's like the most independent human being on the planet, and Superman's the guy that has to protect everyone at all costs. So I was like, he's going to constantly be sheltering her and shielding her, and she's going to hate that. And then they ended up being totally fine. I didn't read their couple title, Superman, Wonder Woman.
I didn't. Clearly.
I wanted to, but I didn't.
I think maybe from the New 52 universe it makes sense, since Superman isn't quite as Boy Scout-y.
Yeah. Good thing he didn't date Lois. She's barely even his type in New 52. She revealed his secret identity to the world when she found out.
Really?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
Stupid. Dumb.
I haven't read that yet.
So dumb. I can't believe they wrote that in there.
And then the other thing I was going to ask you about was, how long does does Green Lantern's exodus from the Justice League actually last?
All of it.
Really?
I don't think he comes back.
Okay. I was not sure.
No, not Hal Jordan. They have 2 of them in the league right now, but I don't think Hal Jordan comes back.
Okay. Which I guess was the other big canonical shift at the end of this volume. Green Lantern is no longer in the Justice League, and Superman and Wonder Woman are together.
I mean, well, they had him just doing stuff in space all the time. Okay. So he was never on Earth. You got to be on Earth to be in the Justice League.
Makes sense.
So they were like, "Oh man, we got to get him out of here." And he really took one for the team too.
I gotta say that was the best moment that Hal has had in my reading so far, of taking one, just taking one for the team the way he did, being the fall guy for the conflict that Wonder Woman started.
And I want to say, when the Question Just you kind of just like see his back in the end. I fucking love the question.
I know you do.
I love the question. Not as crazy about magic question. I like the more human-y question more. But still, the question. Gotta love the question, man.
I'm sure I will when I finally get to reading more about him.
Got his action figure on my coffee table. I love him. Love him.
Clearly.
Yeah. But I guess that's it for
Volume
2 of New 52 Justice League, The Villain's Journey. Jeff Johns, Jim Lee, Scott Williams. I always forget Scott Williams. Sorry, Scott.
That's a great trio right there. I have to give them full credit. And again, Jim Lee's art style is wonderful.
But yeah, that's it. So we're going to move on to our next book for next time.
All right. I'll even change my clothes for that one.
Sure you will. I'm wearing a Marvel shirt today. There we go. Now I'm ready
get that blasphemy out of here.
Now I'm ready, boys. Alright, we'll see you guys later.